What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line because we've been getting a lot of camp footage coming out, and we've been seeing Troy Fautanu specifically doing an absolute phenomenal job with his technique. So we're going to analyze the offensive line. We're going to look at some of the clips that have come out. You got a pretty nice pass here by Justin Fields to Calvin Austin. And I want you guys to keep an eye here on Fautanu at the right tackle position. You can't really see the rest of the offensive line, but you can see Fautanu do a really nice job as he gets vertical into his pass set. Look at how he strikes with the left hand, and the left hand's going to land on the shoulder pad, and then the right hand's going to come second. That's a great job with the hand placement by Fautanu. If there was one thing this guy did well in college, it was how he used his hands. Now, you can already see some of those flashes here in the scrimmage, and to me, this is a really nice shot by Fautanu. But there's another clip that also came out. You got this clip here where Troy Fautanu's lined up at right tackle once again, and he's going to do a really nice job once again using independent hands. So on this one here, he's going to use the right hand first, and then he's going to bring that left hand second. The thing that I really like with Fautanu is just how he utilizes the hands, how he's making contact with these guys. And again, the technique in college was phenomenal with Fautanu, and it's definitely translating into the NFL. When I watch Fautanu use independent hands, it's not surprising because he did this at Washington all the time. So again, great job here landing that right hand first. And it is interesting to also note, because Fautanu obviously played left tackle at Washington, how quickly this guy has adjusted to that right tackle position and how quickly he's able to use the different hands when it comes to striking. You know, when you're a left tackle, you might say, I want to strike with my inside arm first, and then I'll bring that second arm, and then at the right tackle position, your inside arm changes. It's the other arm. But it looks like Fautanu looks pretty comfortable early on in camp, so pretty nice sight right there. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. I want to actually go ahead and switch focus here, and I want to show you guys a couple of plays that Justin Fields made, starting with this first red zone pass here. It's really just a nice pass, a fade pass to George Pickens. Pickens does a great job with the one-handed catch. Just a phenomenal job in man-to-man coverage. But I also do want to talk about the offensive line a little bit. And it does suck because we don't have the beginning part of this clip. But there's one guy specifically, you guys see it right there at right tackle. It's Broderick Jones, which is kind of interesting in its own right, but I do understand. You know, we don't know who's going to start at right tackle. We don't know who's going to start at left tackle. And I know that the Steelers might have ideas of who they essentially want out there, but it is interesting nonetheless. And watch Broderick Jones here snatch down TJ Watt. You can see Watt ends up falling into the ground. That's a really nice job by Broderick Jones. You know, last year on these one-step drops, I didn't see Broderick Jones snatching down defensive linemen. But now he's added this to his game. So it's a great job right there to be able to just kind of see that. You know, we don't get the entire clip, so we don't really know exactly what happens with the rest of the guys. But I'd assume this is some sort of run-pass option because it does look like all the other guys on the offensive line are run blocking. And, of course, the quarterback ends up throwing it up to the wide receiver. Pickens does a phenomenal job. Look at that. Beautiful catch right there. I mean, that right there doesn't get better than that. Great job by Pickens. I think this guy's going to break out this year, and I'm excited for it, man. I'm really excited to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers offense this season. Alrighty, guys, check this play out. You're going to get a Justin Fields pass to Van Jefferson. You're going to get a monster gain on this one. I want to break this play down. There's a couple of different things that I want to point out. A pretty interesting play, nonetheless. Obviously, one of the things you're going to notice right away is it is a play action. And you're also going to get the tight end here that's going to essentially come down the line of scrimmage. And I would assume that he's one of the options for Fields on this play because it is a play action. But one of the interesting things you're going to see right away is that tight end's a little late. And Broderick Jones essentially just elbows this guy right into the face. Right there. You can kind of see that arm hit that guy in the face. He kind of gets in the way of Broderick Jones. So it's got to be a little bit quicker if you're the tight end there. It looks like it's number 81. Not 100% sure if that's correct. That'd be the backup tight end, McCole Pruitt. Regardless, Broderick Jones does a good job jump setting TJ Watt. TJ Watt's going to try to get upfield. He's going to do a good job pushing him upfield. And with that, TJ Watt just kind of goes upfield. And Justin Fields steps up and he's going to make a really nice pass downfield to Van Jefferson. Pretty nice job right there. Let's go ahead and get into the next snap. Alrighty, guys, you're going to get a Justin Fields quarterback keeper on this one. He's going to do a really nice job making the read here on Alex Highsmith, who's going to end up going downwards on the read option. Pretty nice job by Fields to be able to make that read. I do want to take a second here to just talk about the setup of this play. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a new offense coordinator in Arthur Smith, so there's going to be new elements added to the Steelers offense this year. I think the quarterback option is definitely one of those that you want to keep on hand. Of course, you're going to see that George Pickens is going to come in motion at the top of your screen here, and he's going to have a block on the defensive end. And the defensive end is going to absolutely blow him up. That's a really bad job by Pickens. But honestly, I don't like your star wide receiver having to come down and make a block like this. To me, that should be a tight end's job right there. But I understand teams will run these type of plays, and wide receivers will also make these type of blocks. But again, I don't personally like it, but I do like the fact that there's a read option element to it. You know, quarterbacks that aren't quick won't have this entire element to it, and this keeps the defense honest. Because if the defensive end wants to crash down the way he does here and hit George Pickens the way he does here, the quarterback can just pull the football, and that's exactly what Justin Fields does on this one. He ends up outrunning everybody. And he picks up a pretty nice amount of yards on this one, as you guys can see. He picks up about 20 yards. Pretty nice job right there. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. One of the things I wanted to see from Broderick Jones last year to this year was to be more explosive out of his stance. I wanted him to time it a little bit better, and we got this play I saw, and he wasn't as quick and explosive on this one play. Now, this might just be one play. You know, this doesn't mean this is 100% across the board. In fact, I didn't see any other plays where this happened, but on this one here, you can definitely tell he's a little bit slower out of his stance. You can see the right guard gets out of his stance, the center snaps the ball, the left guard gets out of his stance, and Broderick Jones is really slow out of his stance on this one. To me, you got to do a better job getting out of your stance here. Also, it looks like he kind of stands up as opposed to exploding to get to Watt. Just something he needs to continue to work on. Again, not a big deal. Could just be one play. Don't really know, but just wanted to point this out because I don't want to make it seem like everything I'm showing you guys is positive, because there will be improvements that this offensive line will need to make. Now, I expect this offensive line to become a top 10 unit over the next 2 years. There's way too much talent on this unit for it not to become that. But these guys do have to develop. They do have to get better. Fautanu has to, go into year 2 or 3. Broderick Jones, year 2 or 3. Of course, the interior guys, I think, are phenomenal football players. Plus, you got the young center that should eventually become the starting center and really just take over that spot and really be able to hold it down. But I didn't want to just point this play out. Let's get into the next snap. Now, before we move forward, I want to just take a second to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this channel. That is Underdog Sports. And if you're not signed up with Underdog yet, what are you waiting for? Underdog is the best fantasy sports platform out there, and their pick'em game really puts your football knowledge to the test. For me personally, I'm always thinking about matchups when it comes to Underdog, and specifically that pick'em game. Last year the Cowboys and Rams played, and I knew that 2 things would happen. The Cowboys would throw the ball a lot. The Rams would probably match that. So with that, I took the over on both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And I knew the Rams would try to match the points that the Cowboys scored. So I also took the over on Micah Parsons getting at least 1 sack. I got 2 other picks right as well. And I hit on all 5 of these picks. And I turned $5 into $400 last season. Now, you don't have to do 5 picks. Honestly, you can do 2 or 3 picks. And you can turn $5 into $20, $30, $50. It really just depends on the multiplier, and you can basically use your football knowledge to make some extra cash. There's a link down in the comments below, so make sure you guys check that out and support this channel. Now let's just get right back into this video. Now we got another really nice pass here by Justin Fields. He's going to be able to not necessarily avoid the pressure. I think he goes down here, but he does get the ball out. You do see it's a screen. The running back does pick up a nice amount of yards, but this play is interesting because you can tell right away that Dan Moore Jr. actually ends up losing. Now, this play right here would be a sack in my opinion. Just keep an eye on the left tackle. He's going to end up getting beat by the speed rush. Keep in mind the play action to the left side of the formation, and then the screen pass is to that same side. So Dan Moore has a very, very important job within this play. He needs to make sure that as he makes contact with his defensive end, that he not only slows him down, but he does have to turn his body in a way that the defensive end can't come back underneath and make the play. But on this one, Dan Moore Jr. just does a really, really poor job. And in my opinion, the quarterback gets sacked. Of course, you also see Elliott coming off on a blitz, and he would have probably gotten to the quarterback as well. But again, you got to do a better job if you're the left tackle. And you'll also see that when the ball is out there, the offensive linemen do a good job. You'll see the center, number 71 here, do a pretty nice job in making sure that that guy right there is not going to be able to get to the running back. And as he makes contact with that guy, that's going to allow the running back to catch this pass. You'll see the left guard as well get downfield and essentially try to lead blocks. That's a good job right there by one of the best guards in the NFL. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. Every single time I see the second-year tight end Darnell Washington lined up, I always think it's an offensive lineman. It's always confusing to me to think that a guy that big is running a route. This is in 2 separate clips now. I've noticed Washington run a route, and I have to rewind it to see, is that an offensive lineman running downfield? And it's Darnell Washington, man. It's going to be an interesting player to kind of keep an eye on. Now, with that being stated, pretty nice job by the offensive lineman on this one. The left tackle is going to do a good job setting up in a 45-degree set. He's going to make good contact with the defensive end. And he's going to do a pretty nice job sticking to the defensive end. The quarterback obviously does roll to the right. And then you'll see the quarterback's going to be able to kind of get the pass off on this one. Pretty nice job by the offensive lineman, generally speaking, to be able to keep the quarterback clean. Left guard, center, right guard are also going to do a pretty nice job. But you will see a little bit of pressure here by the rookie linebacker. That's going to be Peyton Willis, who there's a lot of upside with this guy, man. Some people think this guy's going to become one of the next best linebackers in the NFL. There's definitely a lot of upside. I think he was the best linebacker coming out of college last year, and I think the Steelers bringing him in made a lot of sense. Steelers have a good defensive line. They have a good secondary. They have good coaching. Everything about it is solid, and you bring in a guy like that to potentially lead this defense. I'm excited for the Steelers, man. They have a good squad. They're definitely building the right way. Justin Fields is the guy that I personally really like at quarterback. Of course, I also cover the Bears on this channel if you guys don't already know that. And with the Bears, Justin Fields was absolutely loved. And Justin Fields would not have been moved had they not had the #1 overall pick. And they only had that because that was the Carolina Panthers pick. That wasn't their actual pick. If they only had the 9th overall pick last year, Justin Fields would still be the Chicago Bears starting quarterback. But I'm excited for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I think there's so much upside with so many of these guys. And I want to just go ahead and wrap this video up showing you guys 2 final plays. They're really not that big of a deal, but I do want to just kind of point it out. Troy Fautanu on this one's going to do a pretty nice job if you guys keep an eye on the right tackle. This is going to be a zone run towards the right, so he has to make sure to wall off that defender. And he has to make sure the defender does not get to the inside. But more than that, as he makes contact with this guy, the further he can push him out towards the right, the better, because it's ultimately going to widen that gap between him and that guard. And you see he does a pretty good job being able to push that guy out there, and that does create that lane to the inside. And of course, the right guard here, Spencer Anderson, also does a pretty nice job being able to push his guy outwards, and the running back does end up just kind of hitting it right to the inside of that. It's a pretty good job by the rookie right tackle. We'll see if he starts at the right side or the left side. I think he'll probably be the starting right tackle with Broderick Jones being the starting left tackle. But we'll see what actually ends up happening because I think Dan Moore Jr. is a pretty good tackle as well. Pretty nice job right there. And finally, we're going to get this play with DeMarvin Leal, the 3rd-year defensive lineman, who's going to actually make a pretty nice play over, I believe it's the right tackle. It might be the right guard here. It looks like it is the right tackle. He ends up just getting right around him and making the play. So that's a pretty nice job right there. The right tackle is basically going to block down. He has a guy to the inside, which is Leal right about there. And he's going to try to reach, and Leal with the right hand, look at that. Bam, he just slaps the hand down. Right hand's going to slap down, left arm's going to come over the top. And he's right in the gap. So that's a phenomenal job right there by the 3rd-year defensive lineman. So it'll be interesting to see Leal as well as Benton and kind of how they look this year. Very excited for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time with another video.